Tones in statements. 4.1.1 Read the following statements and choose one answer from the alternatives that match your feelings or emotions. Then, explain why you think so. Finally, share your responses with the class. Tones in statements.
নিম্নলিখিত বক্তব্যগুলো স্টেটমেন্ট পড়ো এবং তোমার অনুভূতি অথবা আবেগের সাথে মেলে এমন বিকল্পগুলো অল্টারনাটিভস থেকে একটি বক্তব্য বেছে নাও। কেন তুমি এমনটি ভাবছো তা ব্যাখ্যা করো। অবশেষে ক্লাসের সাথে তোমার মন্তব্যগুলো শেয়ার করো। নিম্নলিখিত
A. Why did the math book look sad? Because it had too many problems. Do the sentences make you sad, happy, excited, or humorous? Why do you think so? B. Earth is mainly covered by water. About 70% of the planet's surface is ocean. Do the statements make you sad, happy, curious, humorous, or give you information? Why do you think so? The capital of Greece is Athens, and it is known for its rich history and cultural heritage. Do these statements give you any information or make you curious, smile, or happy? Why do you think so? 4.2.1 Now, read the following statements in column 1 and in pairs, groups. Match them with their tones, how you feel when reading the sentences, in column 2. Later, check your answers with the pair, group next to you.
জোড়ায় বা দলে কলাম 1 এ দেওয়া বক্তব্যগুলো স্টেটমেন্টস পড়ো এবং সেগুলোর সাথে কলাম 2 এ দেওয়া টোনগুলো মিল করো। বাক্যগুলো পড়ার সময় তোমার যে অনুভূতি হয় পড়ে জোড়ায় বা দলে তোমার উত্তরগুলো যাচাই করো। 48 কলমান 1
Column 1. Column 2. English. A. The fluffy white clouds floated in the bright blue sky. 1. Curious. B. Every mistake is an opportunity to learn and grow. 2. Reflective. C. I wonder why some plants have different colored flowers. 3. Persuasive. D. Joining a club or extracurricular activity can help you develop new skills and make friends. Descriptive. E. When I think about my favorite hobby, it brings me joy and helps me relax. 5. Inspirational. 4.2.2 Now, look at the matching in activity 4.2.1 and discuss the following questions in pairs, groups. Later, share your answers with the class. Column 1. A. Every statement has its own tone. Do you agree? If yes, why? B. Do you think authors convey their own moods or feelings through their writings? Explain your answer with an example. C. While doing the activity, how do you identify the writer's mood or feelings in the statements? D. Have you ever experienced the tone of the writer while reading any text, literary work? If yes, describe with an example how you know the writer's tone. 49. 4.3.1 Read the following note to know how a text reflects the author's feelings, emotions and moods towards a particular character or situation.
একটি থেকে কিভাবে একটি নির্দিষ্ট চরিত্র বা পরিস্থিতির প্রতি লেখকের অনুভূতি, আবেগ এবং মোডসকে প্রতিফলিত করে তা জানতে নিচের নোটটি পড়ো।
Note on tonality of a text. Tone is a literary device used to reflect the writer's attitude toward a character, situation, or the subject matter of a text. It helps to make a relationship between the writer and the readers that influences the readers to have a particular attitude and feelings toward a certain character, situation, or text. At the same time, it guides the readers not to take any unfair tone to any character or text. It is true that sometimes the tone may reflect the writer's personal attitude or opinion, but it is less about what the writer feels and more about how that writer wants the reader to feel. So, to have a better understanding of any text, it is important to understand the tone of the text. The tone of a piece of writing is like the tone of your voice when you speak or your body language around another person. If you want to make people laugh, you may have a light and funny tone of your voice, which must be the opposite when you will deliver a piece of serious information. So before talking or writing, you have to set your tone. Writers use several techniques to convey tone, including choice of words. Understanding tone involves picking the right words. Authors choose words that fit the tone they want. Formal writing uses big words, while informal writing is casual. This affects how readers feel about the topic. Academic year 2024. 50. English. Voice of the author. The way a writer talks is important for tone. It's like their personality, how they see things, and how they connect with readers. They can sound like an expert or a friendly friend. They might sound thoughtful, strong, funny, or even a bit mean. This makes the text feel different and helps us understand it better. Feelings. Tonality creates feelings in writing, from serious to fun. It affects how readers feel. Mood and tone work together to set the emotions of a text. Tone shows how the writer feels about things, while mood shows how readers feel when reading. Tone brings out emotions, and mood shows how we feel. Figurative language. It is the use of words and expressions in an unusual and imaginative manner. Simile and metaphor are two good examples of figurative language. A defined tone allows readers to connect with the writer. When you read a literary piece, you may find different tones like cheerful and lighthearted, regretful, humorous, pessimistic, nostalgic, melancholic, joyful, and persuasive. Now, let's know about the different types of tones that you will usually experience in a text. A. Formal or informal tone. A formal text tone is serious, respectful, and professional. It shares information clearly and objectively. Formal language is precise and organized, without casual words. It shows authority and expertise, and the tone can be neutral, informative, persuasive, or instructional. It avoids personal emotions. The informal text tone is friendly and relaxed, using everyday words. It aims to connect with readers like in a conversation. The tone changes based on relationship, context, and feelings like humor, empathy, or nostalgia. Informal tone is clear and familiar, but less strict than the formal tone. 51. B. Non-assertive tone. Tones in statements. If a text just presents facts and does not use any information or words to convince you, the tone is non-assertive. I'm sorry you lost your ticket. Kindly get off the bus and get another one. This is an example of a non-assertive tone. C. Assertive tone. And if there is no sign of anger, and the expression is calm and peaceful, it means the tone is assertive. I really like the way you talk to me. I'll thank you for your manners. Here the tone is assertive. D. Aggressive tone. Again, if a text attacks another person using words and showing anger, the tone is aggressive. You are a terrible liar, is an example of an aggressive tone. E. Tone of triumphant. If the writing shows how the main character overcomes difficulties to achieve success, then the tone is triumphant. F. Calm and thoughtful tone. The writer's tone is calm and thoughtful when he invites readers to explore the character's feelings and thoughts. G. Bitter tone. The tone in the text is bitter, when the writer shows how the character is upset and disappointed with the world. H. Tone of amazement. Again, the writing carries a tone of amazement, as characters discover the magic of a hidden place. I. Excited tone. The writer's tone is excited if S. He shows characters starting an adventurous journey with unknown challenges. In short, the tone of a text may be of various kinds and it mostly depends on the word choice of the writer and how the reader perceives it. 52. Discuss and write in the next column how the statement gives the exact tone stated in the mid-column. 1 is done for you.
বাম কলামে প্রদত্ত বাক্য এবং মাঝের কলামে দেওয়া সংশ্লিষ্ট টোনগুলো পড়ো। এখন কিভাবে সঠিক টোনটি মাঝের কলামে বর্ণনা করা হয়েছে তা জোড়ায় বা দলে আলোচনা করো এবং পাশের কলামে লেখো। একটি উদাহরণ তোমাদের জন্য করে দেওয়া হলো। বাম
Sentences. Tones. How the statement gives the exact tone. A. Joining a club or extracurricular activities can help you develop new skills and make friends. Persuasive. Here, the writer inspires the reader to join a club or extracurricular activities, and it explains the benefits of joining a club or extracurricular activities. B. Please ensure that your assignments are submitted on time. Formal. C. Guess what? I got an A+ in SSC. Informal. D. I will never forget the day I went on a thrilling roller coaster ride at the amusement park. Narrative. E. When I think about my favorite hobby, it brings me joy and helps me relax. Reflective. F. On my birthday, the heartwarming surprise from my friends made me feel grateful and loved. Emotional. G. Should students be allowed to have cell phones in school? There are strong arguments both for and against this issue. Controversial. 53.
Sentences. Tones.
Sentences. Tones. Tones in statements. How the statement gives the exact tone. H. I don't think the weather will clear up for our outdoor field trip, study tour. It's been raining all week. Pessimistic. I won't tolerate anyone disrespecting me or my friends. Go away. Aggressive. J. How does the internet work? I'm really curious about the technology behind it. Curious. 4.3.3 Now, read the following note on the author first and then the text. Later in pairs, groups, answer the following questions. Sentences. Note on the author. Jane Austen, 1775–1817, was a famous English author renowned for her masterpiece, Pride and Prejudice. Her stories beautifully capture how people behaved and interacted in the 19th century. With her clever humor and careful observations, Austen's books are still loved today. She is considered a classic writer who understood society deeply and wrote stories that are truly special. Pride and Prejudice, by Jane Austen, is a classic novel that explores society, manners, and relationships with wit and charm. 54. Was not a sensible man, and the deficiency of nature had been but little assisted by education or society, the greatest part of his life having been spent under the guidance of an illiterate and miserly father, and though he belonged to one of the universities, he had merely kept the necessary terms, without forming at it any useful acquaintance. The subjection in which his father had brought him up had given him originally great humility of manner, but it was now a good deal counteracted by the self-conceit of a weak head, living in retirement, and the consequential feelings of early and unexpected prosperity. A fortunate chance had recommended him to Lady Catherine de Bourgh when the living of Hunsford was vacant, and the respect which he felt for her high rank, and his veneration for her as his patroness, mingling with a very good opinion of himself, of his authority as a clergyman, and his right as a rector, made him altogether a mixture of pride and obsequiousness, self-importance and humility. Excerpt from Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Let's check our understanding of the text by answering the questions. A. How was Mr. Collins' childhood? B. How did Mr. Collins' father influence him? C. What lucky event introduced Mr. Collins to Lady Catherine de Bourgh? D. What does a mix of pride and humbleness, self-importance and obedience tell us about Mr. Collins? E. What ideas about society might the author be expressing through Mr. Collins? 55. 4.3.4 Read the following note and then in pairs, groups, explain how the author's feelings and emotions are hidden in the text through words. Finally, share your findings in the class. 4.3.
জোড়ায় বা দলে নিচের নোটটি পড়ো এবং কিভাবে লেখকের অনুভূতি এবং আবেগগুলো শব্দের মাধ্যমে থেকে লুকিয়ে আছে তা দলে বা জোড়ায় ব্যাখ্যা করো। অবশেষে তোমার পাওয়া তথ্য ক্লাসে শেয়ার করো।
How the author's use of tones are reflected in the text. The author's attitude and feelings towards Mr. Collins are characterized by a mixed array of irony, criticism, and perhaps a touch of amusement. The author uses language that conveys a negative and mocking perspective on Mr. Collins' character, upbringing, and education. Phrases such as, not a sensible man, deficiency of nature, illiterate and miserly father, and self-conceit of a weak head, highlight how the author wanted to portray Mr. Collins. The portrayal of Mr. Collins' humility is initially countered by self-conceit, and his association with Lady Catherine de Bourgh is shown with irony. While the text remains primarily a mockery, there's an underlying layer of amusement in the portrayal of Mr. Collins. Answer the following questions. A. What specific words or phrases did the author use to describe the character of Mr. Collins? B. How did the author use those words or phrases to describe Mr. Collins' character? How does the author's language affect your idea of Mr. Collins' character? D. What emotions did you experience while reading the text? Was it positive, negative, neutral, or sarcastic? E. Did the tone of the text change at any point? If yes, describe it. Academic year 2024. 56. 4.3.5 Read the following note on the author first and then the text. Later. Discuss the following questions in pairs, groups. 4.3.5
লেখক সম্পর্কে প্রথমে নিচের নোটটি পড়ো। তারপর থেকটি পড়ো। পড়ে, দলে বা জোড়ায় নিচের প্রশ্নগুলো আলোচনা করো। লেখক সম্পর্কে প্রথমে নিচের নোটটি পড়ো।
Elwyn Brooks White, 1899 to 1985, was a renowned American author and essayist. He is famous for his classic children's books like Charlotte's Web and Stuart Little, known for their timeless storytelling and touching themes. White also contributed to The New Yorker magazine with his humorous and insightful essays. His works continue to captivate readers of all ages with their warmth, wit, and enduring charm. Charlotte's Web is a beloved children's novel about the friendship between a small boar, Wilbur, and a tiny spider, Charlotte. Through Charlotte's Web, she conveys messages to save Wilbur's life, teaching about compassion, friendship, and the cycle of life. 57. Tones in statements. Text B, peace and acceptance. But I feel peaceful. Your success in the ring this morning was, to a small degree, my success. Your future is assured. You will live, secure and safe, Wilbur. Nothing can harm you now. These autumn days will shorten and grow cold. The leaves will shake loose from the trees and fall. Christmas will come, and the snows of winter. You will live to enjoy the beauty of the frozen world, for you mean a great deal to Zuckerman and he will not harm you, ever. Winter will pass, the days will lengthen, the ice will melt in the pasture pond. The song sparrow will return and sing, the frogs will awake, the warm wind will blow again. All these sights and sounds and smells will be yours to enjoy, Wilbur, this lovely world, these precious days. Excerpt from Charlotte's Web by E.B. White. Again, let's check our understanding of the text by answering the questions. A. What emotions does the speaker convey towards Wilbur in the passage? B. What do the frozen world and these precious days mean in the passage? S. What sense do the imageries of changing seasons, melting ice, returning birds, and awakening frogs convey to you? D. Identify specific words or phrases in the text that convey a sense of comfort and assurance. Explain which tone is contributed. E. How does the winter and spring imagery enhance the tone of renewal and anticipation? 58.
Please.
4.3.6 Now, read the text in Activity 4.3.5 again and identify the following tones in the text. You may list your responses in the following grid. 4.
অ্যাকন্টাইভিটি 4.3.5 এ দেওয়া নিচের থেগটি আবার পড়ো এবং থেগের মধ্যে নিম্নলিখিত টোনগুলি চিহ্নিত করো। তোমার উত্তরগুলো নিচের সারণীতে লিখতে পারো।
Tone. Example words and sentences in the text. The tone of optimism. The tone of affection and care. The tone of challenge and hardship. The tone of comfort and security. 4.3.7 Now, read the text A in Activity 4.3.3 and the text B in Activity 4.3.5 again. And discuss in pairs, groups the criteria, points given in the left column in the grid for both texts. Then, fill in the grid with information based on the text A and text B. Tone.
অ্যাকন্টাইভিটি 4.3.3 তে দেওয়া থেকে এবং অ্যাকন্টাইভিটি 4.3.5 তে দেওয়া থেগ বি আবার পড়ো। জোড়ায় বা দলে উভয় থেগের ক্ষেত্রে বাম কলামে যেসব শ্রীতেরাই পয়েন্টস দেওয়া আছে তা আলোচনা করো। তারপর থেগ এ এবং থেগ বি এ দেওয়া তথ্য দিয়ে সারণীটি পূরণ করো।
Criteria. Text A. Text B. A. Formal. B. Informal. C. Choice of words. D. Voice of the author. E. Mood. F. Feelings. 59. Academic. 4.4.1 Select 5 poems that you have read in your textbook, either Bangla or English textbook of Class 6, Class 7, Class 8 and Class 9. Then, list them in the left column and identify their respective tones in the next column. Finally, quote from the poems and explain why you consider this poem for the particular tone in the next two columns. 4.4
ষষ্ঠ, সপ্তম, অষ্টম এবং নবম শ্রেণীতে পড়া তোমার পাঠ্য বই, বাংলা বা ইংরেজি থেকে 5টি কবিতা নির্বাচন করো। বাম কলামে তাদের নাম লেখো এবং সংশ্লিষ্ট কবিতাগুলোর টোন পাশের কলামে লেখো। পরের 2 কলামে কবিতাগুলো থেকে উদ্ধৃত করো এবং কেন তুমি একটি নির্দিষ্ট টোনের জন্য ওই কবিতাটিকে বিবেচনা করছো তা লেখো। ষষ্ঠ,
Name of the poem. A. Tone of the poem. Quote from the poem. Your explanation. B. S. D. E. New words, masterpiece, deficiency, guidance, illiterate, miserly, acquaintance, humility, consequential, prosperity, fortunate, recommended. Academic year 2024. 60.